Hello everyone and welcome back to Best Way University. Today we're going to be taking a look at our customer identification program and the 6 key components of this policy. Best Way Mortgage is a licensed mortgage lender, and as a licensed mortgage lender, federal law requires us to help the federal government to fight the funding of terrorism and money laundering. A big part of this fight is for lenders and creditors to obtain information on every customer opening a new account. And there are 6 key parts of this policy that we're going to be looking at today. The first thing is, number 1, we provide notice and information to each customer of Best Way Mortgage regarding our customer identification requirements. These laws and these rules come directly from the U.S. Patriot Act. And it's required that as a lender, we inform a client of these requirements. So we're going to have in our lobby a disclosure in every one of our offices that talks about this requirement. The Patriot Act disclosure is also part of every one of our loan application packages, and we're going to have this policy displayed on our website for customers to read. Basically, the U.S. Patriot Act disclosure states that in accordance with Section 326 of the U.S. Patriot Act, federal law requires us as a financial institution to obtain, verify, and record information that identifies each person who is seeking a residential mortgage loan. This will help the government fight the funding of terrorism and money laundering. The 3 key words in that disclosure are obtain, verify, and record. So we're informing our customers that we're going to be obtaining information on their identity, we're going to be verifying that information, and we're going to be recording it. These are the 3 foundations of our customer identification policy. So as we look at the second point of this policy, we're going to be obtaining information to identify each of our customers. So basically, we're going to be asking them who they are. And for customer identification purposes, a customer is an individual or a legal entity that is seeking to open a new account. Customer can also mean an individual or a legal entity that opens a new account for another individual. Maybe someone who lacks the legal capacity, such as a minor, or maybe for a group but doesn't have legal documentation, such as maybe a civil club. In the case of a joint account, a customer means each of our account holders or each of our applicants. Customer does not include a bank or a department of the United States or a state agency. Now, Best Way Mortgage Corp requires that a customer applying for a residential mortgage loan provide us with information including their name, date of birth, home address, mailing address, social security number. Borrowers without a social security number may provide other documentation including a tax identification number, a passport number and the country of issuance, an alien identification card and number, or number and country of issuance of any other government-issued documentation. After we identify the customer, now we also need to verify the identification information. So we know who they are, they're telling us who they are. Now it's our goal and our job as a mortgage lender to verify the information. So how do we verify a customer's information? We obtain an identification. The ID must not be expired and the copy must be clear and legible. For individuals, we will review and record a government-issued identification bearing a photograph or a similar safeguard. Examples of these types of IDs would be a driver's license, a passport, an alien registration card, or a visa. We will retain a copy of this ID in our file. So after we know who our customer is, and now we've verified the identity, now as a lender we must, number 4, determine whether that person appears on any government list. Now this isn't something that we deal with in the office. This is done by our underwriting team. So the investor we're working with, we're providing the identifying information and we're providing the verification of that information. And now our underwriting team is running that information through FraudGuard and identity verification. These programs and these systems provide lenders with comprehensive decision supporting tools designed to quickly and accurately identify risk in the mortgage industry. Customer information is verified using public, private, and proprietary data sources, and this information is scrubbed against government databases to identify potential fraud risk and identify any clients that are on a government exclusionary list. If it is determined there is a potential fraud issue with a client or that there is a match on a government list, all account opening procedures will be stopped. Further investigation will be done, and the account opening procedure may resume after our investigation. If at any time an exact match is confirmed on a government list, the proper supervisory agency of the government or regulatory authority will be notified immediately. Number 5, if we determine a customer poses a high risk, we will move into what we call enhanced due diligence for that file. What is enhanced due diligence? Well, in a situation where a client is deemed to be a high risk, our compliance officer, which is me, will conduct further investigation and gather additional documents to take additional steps to safeguard Best Way Mortgage and our investors. This process is referred to as enhanced due diligence. There are various AML factors, anti-money laundering factors, that can cause a client to be classified as high risk. A customer may pose a high AML risk because of any of the followings. Maybe their name is identified on a restricted persons list, or the customer is from or originating from a high risk country. Or number 3, the customer does business in a high risk or sanctioned country, as an example, maybe Cuba. Number 4, the customer does business in a high risk industry. Number 5, suspicious behavior or activity is identified on that file. Number 6, the transaction in the borrower's accounts or in the file appear to be from high-risk countries. With respect to high-risk customers, the compliance officer shall make a determination of what additional documentation is needed, and we will work with our investor and our compliance legal team to investigate and handle any risks and to take all necessary steps to prevent fraud and money laundering. Number 6, we are going to record information used to verify the person's identity. Best Way Mortgage will maintain records of identifying information and verifying information provided by a customer for a period of at least 5 years. We will also retain a copy of the documentation relied upon to verify the customer's identification and a description of non-documentary methods used to verify a customer's identity. Well, that does it for our review of our 6 components of our customer identification program. Thanks so much for tuning in, and feel free to reach out to me with any questions you might have. Thank you for all you do, and have a great day.